It is day one of Reactica 2023, and this is what progress looks like so far. Say hello. So we actually have the entire team here for the first time for this event, probably for the only time for this event. So let me take you around and show you what I've been working on. So this event is unusual in the sense that I don't have a distinct section this year. I don't have like one machine section that I am responsible for. But let's start with the winter snow-capped mountain section. The part that I've been helping with is this here, which looks a little ugly at the moment, but it will have decoration on the front. The idea is that it needs to be slow and it needs to rotate. And so these weights help it rotate slowly. And there will be a weight on the back attached here that will fall and rotate this slowly, and it will lift the ball that is in here like a ski lift. So it'll be like, it'll come up nice and slow. So that's one thing I've been working on. The next thing, this was actually the first thing I started working on, was I took on the challenge of making a switch that turns on all 9 of these battery boxes. You can see those little black dots in there. Those are switches, each of which powers a separate battery module that powers in a separate ring of lights, or a string of lights. So these are string lights that Alex had for Kinetic Universe, and they're being repurposed for Domino World to light up these houses. But the challenge was basically, how do we turn on 9 individual tiny little switches all at the same time? And so I made a module out of K'NEX that holds all of the little batteries in place. And then this is obviously the lever that is used to flip them all on. So we'll have a large, small to large domino fall on this side and flip them all on. And so it's just a simple little lever, but it had to be very precise and very constrained, but it works really well. So that was one thing I made. And the next thing I helped with is this module, which is a remake or a slight redesign of the module that I built for Dominoes vs. Machines 8, which threw the confetti launcher at the end. We are repurposing that module to launch mini dominoes, which will represent fireworks. And this will also be during the finale of the build. Weirdly, both this module, this thrower cup module, and the light module will both be hidden from view. You'll only see kind of the result of it. You won't actually see the module itself. So I did spend a lot of the time today building stuff that you won't even really see, which is a bit humorous.
See a test?
Right, yeah, let's do a test.
Test.
Very cool. So it works. We're making 4 separate modules, and they are a little bit less overpowered than the version I made for Dominoes vs. Machines. Despite the payload being heavier, it's a lot easier to get it to go in the air than it is to get confetti in the air, because confetti is just paper. And then finally, I worked a little bit on the passenger train section, specifically with kind of affixing the layout and attaching the layout, but most of the work has been done by Oscar. So that is day 1. I guess I can also go over my materials, which I shipped for the first time rather than packing them in a suitcase and then checking that bag. So I have this big box with a bunch of packing peanuts, and then this smaller box, which I nested it inside. And so everything made the journey safely. And what that allowed me to do, because I wasn't checking a bag, is I can bring my miniature table saw and my power tools, which have already proven useful to have around. So I definitely made the right call, not least because I ended up having a flight get canceled, and that stuff is just way more stressful when you have a checked bag. But that's kind of beside the point. Yeah, that is day 1. It is a stress-free day. Nothing has gone wrong, and progress is coming along. Stay tuned for day 2. It is Reactica day 2 update time, and the first table of the winter mountain ski lift section is complete. So we'll actually open up with a full table test, literally table, not section. So let's just go for it. What? Oh, maybe something. Maybe
It happens in real life too.
maybe the pulley was. Yeah, that's what I thought. The pulley was being weird.
Yeah, it needs like it's like so much string that's wrapped around it that it's getting hard to.
Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, I have to be here to catch the ball anyway, so. There we go. So what I worked on mostly today was figuring out the method to take the ball out of the cup here, basically. So there's a tire here, and the ball obviously rides up the ski lift in the tire, but how do we get it out? So I made this little block thing that tilts. It starts tilted this way, and it's got these little popsicle stick rails on it. So it starts down this way, and then when it comes up, it just picks the ball up and then slopes it down this way, and then there's a little funnel and a slope here to make sure it comes out the other side, which seems basic when it's complete, but it was not that easy to figure out. So I also added the mountains and the backdrop, but we're not completely positive that this is the final look. We might add some decoration to it as well. All right, let's do an update of the rest of the build. I didn't work on much else besides that today, but I was about to start helping with the town train, which has progressed very nicely since the last time I visited this half of the room. And so it's in need of some troubleshooting, I've heard, but are we ready for a test? Maybe we should reset the lever. I like it. I like how you left one very little thing for the last thing, just to make it look like, you're just in time. We were just about to start. Will the train stop? It does. Oh, and now we got some launchers coming up. Maybe. They are really coming up this time. And they're still coming up. They're about to happen. And so then the train is at its final destination. So the launchers are the one thing that we need to work out, I guess, but this section still needs one more trick. As for the treetop section, a couple of things are in progress, but nothing far enough along for an actual test. All right. Guess we'll do one final shot of the entire build. We had a bit of a boo-boo over here. So, Brady, do you want to talk about your little accident?
My little boo-boo is I was making a safety line for one of the stunts, and then while trying to put some barriers up, I knocked into the yard stick, and then all the stunts happened at once. It was very cool to look at, but it was very devastating. So yeah, it's fine because there's some things I wanted to rearrange, so should end up being better.
And so we were talking about whether we wanted to put a backup line for one of these tricks. We weren't really sure if it was going to work. And so actually, after this accident, we still don't know because it didn't actually test the thing we wanted to test. But let's do one shot of the entire room.
This is important because it's just not going to be 5-star without.
And I guess I should talk about the back part too, which I didn't really help with today, but it is coming along as a result of the things I worked on yesterday. So the lights that I helped make the device for, and the confetti launchers, or the firework launchers that I kind of helped modify my design, they're now locked in place. So the finale is more or less complete.
No, it's not for me, it's for the wealthy
And it's looking
benefactors
good.
of this institution.
All right, that's day 2. Stay tuned for day 3. It is Reactica day 3 update. And today I did more helping with people's ideas. So the first thing I worked on was improving some of the troubleshooting that we were experiencing with the train section, namely the 2 launchers. I changed the method by which each of the launchers is activated. So instead of a complex domino toppling activation with a lever, it now just releases a domino both times. We can actually do a full test, a full run through of the train section now. We're still missing the first trick, but if we pretend it doesn't exist, we'll do a full test. Go ahead, Zane. Choo choo. And that was perfect. I forgot to mention as well that I helped adjust some of the releases for these orange tracks where the train comes to a stop. So I changed the method underneath them that kind of holds the train in place. And I helped fix this lever as well, this kind of time delay for the tilting spinning board. And I'm starting right now to work on the transition from the train up to the jungle table, which I'm going to do with this launcher through the pentagonal tube. And I'll finish that probably tomorrow. But the other thing I helped with a little bit today was building some of the release levers for Joel's trick, which is a little 4-square crossover timing 1-ball path trick. But you want to just go ahead and demonstrate?
Yeah, he made these things right here, this little lever release.
Yeah.
And this one down here. I just put them in when I was
Yeah.
taking a little break to help me out.
Very cool. And coming up in the next few days, I'll probably be working back over there in the snow-covered mountain section. We have some plans to do a half-pipe thing once we have a poster board tonight. And then maybe, I don't know, if something really inspiring happens on this table, I'll probably help out with that as well. And looks like we might be adding an intro table on the little corner of the room here. So I don't know, if I'm feeling inspired to do one of those, then I'll go ahead and do that. But as it stands so far, I've contributed no original complete ideas, and I've mostly just helped other people with making their visions come to life and troubleshooting existing problems and so forth, which is where I see my role, honestly. So I'm happy. Day 3 in the books, day 4 coming soon. All right, it is Reactica day 4, and I spent most of the day, I think pretty much the entire day, working in this one tiny area on this one trick because it ended up being a bit of a problem. This box is here blocking your view of everything, but it's here as a safety because there is nothing catching anything at the moment. So I'll film from the other side, but this is the angle that the audience will see and that you'll see in the final video. But this is kind of the angle that I've been seeing all day. It is a half pipe, which is meant to be kind of a snowboard or skier type, just snow-covered landscape thing. And this is what happens right after the ski lift. So the ball, again, this is all 1-ball path, right? So the ball comes in and then goes down, and then what we decided to do is have the ball kind of go through the half pipe and then out here. And then this will be a trick or just maybe a little small path, and that will lead back into it, and then it'll just kind of go down like that. That part was relatively easy, just a matter of getting the poster board, which we had to go to CVS last night and pick up, and then figuring out the spacing, figuring out the dimensions, figuring out the slope, all that. But the easy part, for sure. The hard part was what happens after that, which is I had this idea of doing a whole cascade of marbles that would follow a very specific path, and it would look cool to kind of have this, this line of marbles snaking down the half pipe, and you could sort of just trace it with your eyes, and you would see that they all follow the same path, and it would look really cool. But in order for that to work, they need to be spaced out ever so slightly. You can't just have like the entire sequence of marbles released immediately, because when they make when they turn around, they make the turn. Of course, they come back the way they came, and if there's not enough clearance, they'll just hit the marbles that are coming up, and they'll hit each other on the half pipe. So in order to prevent that from happening, there has to be enough of a gap, there has to be enough time in between each marble getting released. And one way of doing that little time offset, is by incorporating a 90-degree turn, and that's this here. So that's why the marbles make a 90-degree turn instead of just being lined up directly on this track. Now, the reason this took forever is because I was stubborn to make it exactly a 90-degree angle, and I had this track kind of like this, and it would make this sort of 45-degree turn, and that just didn't end up working at all. The other problem is that these marbles have an insane amount of friction. Just having two marbles touch each other makes them pretty much stuck in place. Just the friction of one ball rolling, or one marble trying to roll against the other one that it's touching, it just doesn't work. So there's an insane amount of friction, and they have to make a turn, and they're of course stacked against each other, and of course the weight of the whole line is pressing into the one who's trying to make the turn. So it was a huge problem, but I think it's fixed. But let's just run a test and see. And if this doesn't work, then I'm basically going to be going back to square one and probably just doing something a little simpler, maybe reducing the number of marbles, or just making it so that it doesn't really matter if they hit each other, or making it so that there's so much of a gap that they could never possibly hit each other in some other way. Who knows? Let's hope this works. So this is the first part, which we still haven't seen yet. But this part is meant to exit the half pipe and go here. There you go. And then this is the second part. Alex, do you want to press the yellow lever and then leave it pressed down? Go ahead. So that the clacking and clanking that you hear is the marbles hitting each other once they reach the bottom. And the reason that one bounced back is because they collected here at the bottom and then it bounced back. So that's not a worry. The worry is when they hit each other in around this spot, which didn't happen, thankfully. Because this obviously is just a safety. This won't be here for the final trick. The marbles will exit onto a track or something, and then that won't happen where they bounce backwards like that. So it looks concerning, but that's just a result of having the safety there. Not going to be a problem. That went according to plan. That is basically everything that I did today. All right. Stay tuned for day 5. It is Reactica day 5, and today I spent pretty much the entire day working again on the half pipe trick, except now fleshing it out into a more full trick. I guess to cut to the chase, there are still problems with the marble system being too fast, where the marbles will run into each other, but it seems as though even if that does happen, the trick will still work. It just doesn't look that good. And it's still up in the air how much time we want to devote to actually fixing that versus just building and finishing the machine. But anyway, the way this works now, we've got the completed first run of the ping pong ball through the half pipe, where it actually exits on the right side. And this is new today. This is a track that it's just an auto tilt. It knocks the latch out of the way and tilts up, and then the ball goes down that way into this track and then through the half pipe again. and then it just exits out in the front. Now this system in the front was devised by Joel, who decided that the best way to sort the marbles from the ping pong ball would be to do it by size, which is not something I had actually thought of, and specifically do it with this little rail system where the marbles can fit through the wooden sticks and into the wooden track underneath, and the ping pong ball obviously can't, and it just rolls along the rails. And then we did a little bit of fun stuff where there's like a little staircase here to lead into a ball lift, and then there's these connections in the front to transition out of the marbles. So as the marbles roll through, they fill up this little dish, and then the weight causes this to go, which was that was a lot of fun. That was a pretty seamless design process. Just like, this was an enjoyable machine building experience. This, not so much. But we are fully connected from the ski lift all the way through, the ball being ready to be ball lifted, basically. Theoretical ball lift. Yeah, so let's run the test of seeing how this works. So it goes up, and then we're gonna have a full half pipe, and then just some rocking back and forth. And now, marbles.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah,
That was phenomenal.
that was literally exactly perfect. Sometimes it is perfect, other times when we say literally perfect, I think that might be the best run we've had
not
ever.
only is it literally perfect, but it's either like the marbles just do this really weird thing where they either go so perfectly slow, like, and they have the perfect distance between them, or they all go fast, like each and every one of them. And we still don't know what causes the difference in that chain, but that time
No
it went
clue.
slow, and so that's the intended route.
So you got to see arguably the most perfect take we've ever gotten on this. But it doesn't always look like that, and that's why there's this clear plastic in the back to prevent marbles from shooting off towards the back when they do collide. And then there are obviously a bunch of barriers up in the front here. But yeah, the next thing for tomorrow is just whatever the ball lift connects to, probably just a small zigzag track or something very simple to just fill the space. And then Zane's been working on this like a snow chaser scene where it's the ball rolls down the track and the snow follows behind it. So it looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's day 5. Day 6, we'll have the machine done. It is Reactica day 6, and tomorrow is Topple day. So luckily, the machine is complete. You'll notice quite a few things are different. The most glaring thing that has changed is all the snow that's been added around the build. So luckily, there's quite a bit of empty space in the machine, and we can fill it with packing peanuts that I brought because I shipped my materials this year. And they look great as snow. Especially here, where it's kind of like buried among the iceberg, and it's built up a little bit. I think this looks really awesome. So Joel is actually not here at the moment. He had to leave one day early, or I guess 2 days early. So I'll have to ask him what he thinks. Hopefully he likes it. I've also added these trees here out of popsicle sticks. These are little pine trees, and these really bring the area to life. They really change the entire look of the machine. But as for the final tricks that we added, there are a couple of things on this table that are new. So the first is this sequence of little raising tracks that just kind of like consecutively lifts the ball up. But the one that I really like, the trick I really like, is this one here, which actually just fell apart. This is meant to be right here. This is a track that is supposed to be here, but it came apart, I guess. So I guess I'll fix that. But anyway, the blue ball rolls down into here and releases this snowball, this white ball, to roll down the track and just kind of push the blue ball along. So this track is not sloped. So this snowball pushes the blue ball along. I just think it's a really good, clean, fun, simple trick, perfect for an event. So this machine is very reliable. I think I finished the marble thing. I, fingers crossed, have figured out something that works, and it has been pretty consistent recently. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is getting a working take of this machine. So wish me luck. It is Reactica Day 7, and it is post-topple. So here is a shot of the entire build after fall down. It's actually like 5:30 right now, so the museum's closed. It's been several hours since the topple. What we've been doing after is getting pickup shots that we will be splicing into the main video, among other things. So I'll talk about what I worked on after the topple. I guess I should talk about the topple first. Of course. The topple was perfect for this machine. It was perfect for the train. It was perfect for the jungle. The only two things that were even slightly wrong were this basketball, which the ball lifter, is no longer here. This didn't work. And then the other thing was this and this, which turn on the lights. So if you remember day 1 or maybe day 2, I built this device, which turns on all of the string lights at once. This did not activate during the topple, so all of the towers came down, the confetti launchers went off, but the houses did not light up. So everyone was excited. It was a great finale, but it was missing that one ingredient. So those were the only two things. Every other domino thing worked exactly perfectly, and every machine worked exactly perfectly. I guess I should clear up the fact that there was technically a small impurity with the half pipe, which is the thing that we knew could happen, which is the marbles colliding with each other. But we had anticipated that was possible to happen, and it really doesn't affect whether the machine works or not. It's just more of an aesthetic thing that we wanted to get for the close-up shot. The other thing, Joel actually had to leave at the end of yesterday. So today, yesterday was his first day not here, and we made a decision without him to put snow into the machine, which was made out of these packing peanuts. He told me last night that they would look better if they were cut in half, and it turned out that he was extremely right. So we spent a couple minutes this morning cutting up the packing peanuts into a bit more smaller pieces. They look more like snow now. So that meant we had to get a new working take, quote unquote, for this machine, which didn't take that long. We got a perfect working take of this machine pretty quickly. And then it worked perfectly during the event as well. It's been a while since this thing has even properly failed. The marbles still occasionally do their own thing, but that's all right. After the topple, I spent some time getting close-ups for Joel and doing some close-up shots of the tricks in this machine, and then taking some photos, including some thumbnail photos. And then I actually had the time to do an overhead shot, which is kind of the replacement for the machine as a screen link segment, is just do a full overhead shot, which I was only going to spend a little bit of time on and just do one take of. If it worked, it worked, and if it didn't, who cares? And it worked. It was perfect. The marbles were even perfect. So I have an overhead shot of the machine now, as well as a handheld shot of the machine. So it's looking really likely that I will actually, if Joel's okay with it, post this video. So, like the machine, the mountain machine. Yeah. So that's what we've been working on, and then we've also been working on getting a working take of the train and jungle combo, like back-to-back perfect, which is very funny. It's extremely funny because the working take, during the topple, it worked perfectly. And then it has taken us 4 more hours to get another take perfect of the train and jungle working perfectly back to back. So it's extremely weird to think about, but if we had done even just one more test before topple, it would not have worked during the topple, and then we would have been struggling to get it to work again. So at least the audience got to see a fully working take for this machine and this machine. So an absolutely incredible fall down. I genuinely, 2 minor things is a really good thing. That's insanely good. The other thing too, we got a pickup shot of the finale. Surprise! So what we did, I decided that it was probably worth it to just rebuild the 2 walls back here, which take, I don't know, about 15 minutes each, and then rebuild the lines underneath, reset the confetti, reset the string lights, and just go for the finale again. And so from Alex's point of view, we realized that we would probably be using my close-up of the mountain machine and then cutting to Alex's angle, which is the overhead from the ladder in the back. The ladder in the back. That was Brady doing an update. that high-pitched sound there. So Alex's shot will be on the ladder. We'll cut directly from my close-up to that angle, and from that angle, you can't see anything else. You can't see that there's no audience here. You can't see that some of the dominoes have been cleaned up already. And so, if you just keep it like this looks exactly how it did during the topple. So we can just do the entire finale a second time and try it again. So I guess it's technically we haven't decided whether we're going to use that one, but I think the edit will come together in a way that will allow us to use the retake of the entire finale, which is super unusual to be able to do that. But yeah, that's what we've been spending time doing, is just getting a lot of pickup shots and pictures and retakes and close-ups, and in my case, an overhead shot. And just trying to get this this whole section to work a second time, which is an interesting turn of events. But yeah, tomorrow's cleanup day, and resorting all the materials, finishing cleaning up all the dominoes, getting everything in the trash, getting everything into suitcases, getting everything into boxes and bins and cars and so forth. And it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.